Realty Market Update. Today's topic is house investing, hold or flip, and where to start. My name is Michael Ross. I'm the broker of Grand Rapids Realty, and I'm just going to take a few minutes here today about house investing, where to start. What's the reason that you're doing this in the first place? You really should have a piece of paper and a pencil and start this reason, because you got to figure out your why. So the reason why I put hold or flip is because I have seen families that they will purchase a property and they will rent it. They don't need to make a ton of money off of it, but what they're doing is they want a tax write-off, they want to make a little money on the house, and they have a purpose. One of the ones that I just recently did, that's their college fund for their children, you know? So they don't have to make a lot of money, but it's like they're moving money forward, they're providing housing, and they're doing something good for the community. There's like a lot of reasons why. And you really have to identify that why, right? That's a really good place to start. And are you gonna flip it, or are you just gonna take and hold it long term? Now here's the thing about holding something long term. If you charge top dollar, if you look at the marketplace and you have a 3-bedroom home in Grand Rapids, Michigan at this time, there's all kinds of price points available currently, and you know, $1,500 to $1,700 for a 3-bedroom home is cheap. There are some that are more expensive and some that are less expensive. In the immediate area, you would like to take and go through at least 5 or 6, 7 houses that are currently for rent and figure out what the top dollar is that you can charge. And then please don't do that unless you want to really get into maintenance. If you're right there at the top amount of money, you know, that tenant will move out for $50 a month. They will. So I always try to keep my rents a little bit lower. And you have to just make a determination. In house investing, you might just want to flip the property. So let's talk about flipping for a moment. So you really need to get a piece of paper and go through every single room and start looking at the fixtures that you're going to replace. And then paint. The same thing with paint. It's like most rooms are like 3 different colors. The ceiling, the trim, and then the field. You really want to kind of part that out per room regarding how much paint, what the fixtures are going to look like, does it need an electrical update, what does that furnace look like. Do yourself a favor, this will help you a bunch when you flip stuff. Do a plumbing, heating, electrical, structural, radon, termite inspection. I mean, really go through that property. It's really important that you have a target and a budget, right? So you really have to choose what's best for you. You really have to figure out the reason to invest and keep to that investment strategy on a piece of paper, as organized as you possibly can be. Please, it'll pay you dividends. Talk to your tax person, for gosh sakes, about the depreciation tables in regard to your income. Room by room through the house. You know, also look at make sure that you look at that roof. That can be a big item to replace. Don't mess around with that. Don't just go, it looks good. My opinion. I'd have somebody take a look at it. There's basically 3 types of ways regarding property. They got this thing now called Airbnb. You might have heard of it. Boy, you can make a lot of money. And it's also a lot of maintenance. A property management company will be in and out of that every time a tenant turns over, every week, every day. So you really have to factor in that. And you might want to ask the property management company, do they have a rate if you sign a contract for 24 months, what kind of rates you can get for cleaning up? Unless you want to take that task on yourself. I mean, there's several families that I've sold lakefront cottages to, lakefront properties to, that, you know, the lake is fine, but they're only going to be there about, 2 months of the year. Weeks at a time is a big commitment. So they would rather rent it out, and they don't want to be tied to that albatross, right? It's fun at first, but about, tenant number 50, look at that. Look at your expenses regarding cleaning, maintenance, updates. Also, look at your long-term repairs, your deferred maintenance. Does it have underground sprinkling? Is it something that there's a big fall cleanup? Please try to be nice to yourself and have somebody on a schedule to help you with the maintenance. You'll just enjoy it a lot more. Now, there's this thing called the Rule of 72, and I'm sure that you've heard me talk about this before. It's important that you look that up on the internet and minus out your expenses and calculate an internal rate of return. And what my recommendation is to do it cash on cash. I can illustrate that, and the long and the short of it is, the Rule of 72 is something that's really simple. All you do is, it's 72 divisible by the rate of return that you want. So if you want a 10% return, it's like you better get your money back in 7.2 years. That's the formula. But it's like, what's really funny is that this formula, the Rule of 72, it'll also, like, if you want an 18% rate of return on a property, it's like that'll work out to 4 years because it compounds. It's pretty simple stuff. It'll at least give you an idea of how much your down payment is and what you have to cash flow to make 10%, to make 18%. I really do appreciate you watching my video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for taking the time to do this. Smash that like button and share this with your friends if you found it educational. Thank you again.